Have you ever looked at a heroine and wondered if her strength came at too high a price? Today we are diving into the world of A Court of Thorns and Roses, but not through the lens of power, magic, or romance. We're talking about survival and what it really cost Feyre Acheron. At first glance, Feyre's journey seems like a story of growth. A mortal girl who becomes High Fae, a queen in her own right. But if you look deeper, you'll find something quieter, something more painful. She is the sole provider for a broken family that neither supports her nor sees her. Her father is silent, her sisters are distant. She's just a girl with a bow and a burden. No one asked what she needed. No one noticed when she broke. From the very beginning, Feyre equates love with pain and value with usefulness. Feyre's relationships with her sisters only heighten this isolation. Nesta and Elaine are close to each other, forming a unit that Feyre is never truly a part of. Nesta, sharp-tongued and proud, often clashes with Feyre, treating her with coldness and disdain. Feyre interprets this as resentment, and their relationship simmers with unspoken tension and unacknowledged pain. Elaine, on the other hand, is gentle, detached, protected in her own dreamlike world, unable or unwilling to face the grim reality of their situation. She relies on Feyre but offers little in return. This dynamic creates a strange and painful family structure. Nesta becomes a kind of bitter, authoritative mother figure, Feyre the hardened, practical father, and Elaine the delicate, infertile child caught between them. In this distorted family role play, Feyre is emotionally abandoned. She is not comforted, not affirmed, and not seen. Her value is tied to what she can do, hunt, provide, protect. No one asks her what she needs. No one notices when she breaks. The emotional labor is immense and invisible, and it teaches Feyre to equate love with responsibility and pain. Feyre's relationships are often framed as epic romances or unbreakable loyalties, but beneath the surface, many of these bonds are forged in pain, desperation, and shared trauma. So when Tamlin offers her safety and praise, even if it's controlling and suffocating, she stays. Not because it's love, but because it's the first time someone made her feel seen. Tamlin's protectiveness isn't love, it's possession. But for Feyre, love has always come with sacrifice, and she's used to sacrificing herself. With Tamlin, Feyre initially feels gratitude. He offers her safety, beauty, and the illusion of peace. Tamlin is controlling and emotionally reactive, and Feyre, conditioned to survive and keep the peace, shrinks herself to fit his world. She believes love must be earned, and Tamlin's protectiveness feels like a prize she cannot afford to lose, even when it begins to suffocate her. Rysand, often framed as the better choice, also enters through trauma. He understands Feyre's pain, not because he sees her more clearly, but because he shares it. Their bond is forged in survival, not in rest. Even in the night court, Feyre doesn't relax. She performs strength. She becomes High Lady. She becomes everything to everyone except herself. Her relationships with Rysand, Lucien, even the inner circle, are intense, loyal, and rooted in shared pain, but they are not always emotionally healthy. Feyre bonds with the broken because she understands being caged. In love that doesn't come with a fight, it feels suspicious. He helps her survive under the mountain. He is the first to understand her pain, not because he sees her more clearly, but because he shares it. Their connection is forged through mutual damage. Feyre is drawn to him because she sees herself in his suffering. He gives her a new role, a new court, and a new narrative. But this is still not quite freedom. Even in the night court, Feyre often performs strength rather than embodying it. She becomes High Lady, yes, but also the emotional caretaker of a group of powerful, wounded people. She takes on everyone's pain as if it's her own. These are the only people who truly see her, even if they only see fragments. So she clings to them fiercely, mistaking closeness for connection and shared pain for love. from Tamlin to Rhysand, and even to the inner circle in Lucien. Feyre consistently attaches herself to people who reflect her wounds. These relationships are not always built on trust or mutual growth. They are trauma bonds, connections formed through survival, not stability. Tarquin offers her something different, a gentle, open kind of affection. But Feyre walks away, not because he's lacking, but because she doesn't believe she deserves love that comes easily. To someone shaped by hardship, peace feels like a trap. Safety feels like a lie. So Feyre chooses love that must be earned again and again. Throughout her time in both Spring and Night Courts, Feyre is deeply isolated. She does not have friends in the true sense. She has allies, protectors, people she would die for, but not necessarily people she can confide in or be soft with. Her loyalty to Tamlin, Rhysand, Mor, Asriel, Cassian, and even Lucien is intense, but often comes from a place of emotional starvation. There's also another layer to her journey, one that's often overlooked. Feyre was illiterate, not just in reading, but in emotional language. She couldn't read people, systems, or power structures. Her worldview was shaped by survival. There was no space for softness, doubt, or rest. Even her bravest acts, like going under the mountain or pretending to love Tamlin again, come from self sacrifice and not confidence. She cannot read literally and metaphorically. This lack of education contributes to her narrow point of view. She sees Tamlin as her only option because she has no language or framework for alternatives. Even in the Night Court, she is slowly learning to think differently, but it's a process, not an instant transformation. Cognitive dissonance is rare in Feyre because she doesn't have the luxury of second guessing. To second guess will be to hesitate, and hesitation to her means danger. Feyre's story is one of pain masked as power. Her growth is messy, complicated, and not always admirable. And that's exactly what makes it powerful. Feyre doesn't know how to choose herself because she never learned how. Feyre is constantly in survival mode. It's fair to say that she's been in survival mode since childhood. She went from providing food for her family to being a curse breaker in a new world to a high lady. Even her most dramatic acts of bravery often come at the expense of herself. Her default is self sacrifice, whether it's hunting in the woods, going under the mountain, or pretending to love Tamlin again in a court of mist and fury. She doesn't trust herself to rest. She's not making these choices from a place of clarity, but from a place of emotional damage. She doesn't always make the right choices. She often confuses love with duty and peace with complacency. Characters like Lucien mirror this dynamic. Feyre connects to Lucien through the shared helplessness they both experience under Tamlin's rule. He is also a survivor, torn between duty and his own silent rebellions. Feyre feels for him and wants to save him because she sees his trauma as familiar. She feels connected to anyone who has been hurt, isolated, or caged because she understands that feeling too well. He is also a survivor, torn between duty and his own silent rebellions. Feyre feels for him and wants to save him because she sees his trauma as familiar. She feels connected to anyone who has been hurt, isolated, or caged because she understands that feeling too well. Feyre's journey is often celebrated as one of strength, resilience, and transformation. But beneath the arc of growth is a quiet, unsettling exploration of what happens when a person is deprived of safety, affection, and education for too long. Feyre's choices, particularly in love and loyalty, are not as empowering as they may seem at first. They are in many ways the choices of someone conditioned to survive rather than live freely. Her relationships with Tamlin, Rhysand, and even the inner circle reveal deep patterns of trauma bonding, self sacrifice, and a lack of emotional literacy. Feyre's story is not about empowerment, it's about trauma, isolation, and how survival becomes a cage when you've never been taught how to live. Feyre starts her story on the edge of starvation. What does her growth really look like? Not a clean arc, not a romantic fantasy, but a woman unlearning survival, learning softness, learning to rest, learning she's worthy, not because she protects others, but because she exists. Feyre is not a perfect heroine. She is a reflection of what happens when the world demands strength, but never teaches you how to feel safe. And in that, she is painfully, beautifully real. She is a reflection of trauma, of the choices women make when no good choices exist. She is a story about what happens when the world demands strength but never teaches softness. And in that, Feyre Acheron is not just a character, she is a mirror. Thank you for watching this character deep dive. If this resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Who should we analyze next? Until then, be kind to yourself. Survival isn't the same thing as healing.